कैमरा ऑन कर लो। ओह हेलो,
Good morning, sir.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
So, I welcome all the participants on the first day of this FDP for the first technical session. I welcome Professor Dr. Hariom Sharan. He is serving as Dean, Academic Affairs and Dean at the Faculty of Engineering and Technology at Rama University, Uttar Pradesh, Kanpur. He is having more than 15 years of experience in academic as well as in research. His research area is networking, AI, security, and high-performance computing. Dr. Sharan received his PhD in DNA computing. He guides the college towards the academic excellence, promotes a culture of research, and he is an expert in designing and deployment of academic curriculum. As the chairman of IPR Cell, he organizes a seminar, workshops for the students and faculty to promote the research. He also published a book on mobile network technology. He has also filed and published numerous patents and copyrights, mostly in computer science and engineering, to serve the nation in the field of research. So welcome, sir. I hope you are able to share your presentation.
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
You can proceed, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So firstly, I would like to say thank you very much for the organizers, convener HOD IT of AVS Engineering College, and co-convener Dr. Professor Anis Gupta sir, and all the team who are working behind this FDP. And thank you very much for the participants who are going to attend this FDP 5-day FDP, which is very much important part to deliver the things and who are looking the career in this era. So I hope everyone will give me a minute, please, so that I can share my presentation with you all.
Oh, okay, sure, sir.
Yeah. No. So thank you very much to everyone. As this particular FDP, totally based on machine learning, which is the very trending topic of computer science department, which is related to artificial intelligence, as everyone knows about the era, and we have seen last few months, not only months, we can say last over 1 year, everyone were facing the pandemic, and all the things were delivered in virtual mode. Like this particular FDP also we are talking about. Am I audible, sir? So if I'll talk about the learning,
Yes, sir.
learning will go on what we have. Firstly, to, thank you very much. We have to talk. Learning is nothing but it is a process by which we can improve our system performance and experiences. And as academies, every institution and every department, every faculty members is going to create the learning environment in their institution to and improve their performance in their stream, whatever they are pursuing. So on the basis of this concept, machine learning is totally depend on the computer programs, and we are going to train the system which automatically improve their performances through experiences. If we will talk about the machine learning, so before going to machine learning concept, we have to discuss about little bit artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is nothing. It is we are doing the computers to mimic human behavior, like they can behave like human brain. Train the we can create the environment, artificial environment, intelligent the system or devices or machines by which we can computers to mimic human behavior. So if normally talk about the intelligence, intelligence is the capacity to learn the solve problems. Like in general way, we will talk about that the person is very intelligent. How we say this particular thing, this particular person is very intelligent because of the era or the environment where they are living. They can learn or they can see the problems or they can face the problems, and they provide the solution by the use of their brains, what is going on around us, so they can learn from them their things, and they will provide the solution for the particular problems depend on the problem category. So it is called intelligence. If we talk about the artificial intelligence, so in this artificial intelligence, we are talking about the machines only. Machines in the sense like a robot or chatbots, computer systems, programs. So what we do under this category, also we do the same thing. Thing is what? Like ability to solve the problems, how we will solve the problems, and rationally, like humans. If we will talk about the principles of AI include, it is based on the reasoning, based on the planning, based on the meta-knowledge, based on the learning environment, so that they can provide the solutions. And also the perception, like once if we will meet the person, so if we learn from the other people and we can percept the this particular will be like this, but maybe sometimes our perception is not accurate. So artificial intelligence is talk about the outcomes, accuracy. It will provide the perception. So accuracy is what about artificial intelligence or the machine learning will say about the accuracy, about the perception. These are the things which comes under the artificial intelligence. As maximum participant, I can expect that maximum participant is from computer science background, so they know about the artificial intelligence in deep. So I'm not much go into the artificial intelligence. So I'll talk about the what is machine learning or like that, because of it is the basic thing what on which we have to talk about. So machine learning, if I'll talk about the machine learning only, we talked about learning. Learning is what? Learning, we are expecting environment in the same pattern. Under the machine learning concept, we study the algorithms, and also we can learn from the past experiences which provide the environment and also selection of the if we will take about the example of our brain, we see, mean to say, we take the input from the many sources, like if we are touching anything, so we are taking the input, we are looking, we are seeing anything, so it means we are taking input from the eyes, we are hearing anything, so we can say this is also an input. And our brain, what our brain does, with some logic, with some functions, it will provide the output. Suppose we can say if we are seeing the car, so if we have been depicted or described by the car, so we see this is the car, so we our brain says it now it's a. So it totally depend on our. I'm not talking about the brain only. I'm talking about the trained brain. So where all the logics. So in the same thing, if we will talk about the machine, like name machine, if we take example, so we will provide, as we had discussed now, we provide the inputs and old outputs. Old outputs we can say because of from the past experiences we know about this is the car. That's why I can identify this is the car. So input plus old output, we can say, or we can see the experiences and we can provide the perception or output. So learns the parameters of function and algorithm. So what is the function and logic is going inside the our brain in the same in machine to minimize the differences between predicted output and actual output. So this type of function, if we will say, it is the statistical function. Statistical function, what we are giving the input, we are taking the output for the functions we are deploying over there. So the role of function or the role of statistical function is that the minimize the difference between predicted output and actual output. So if we will talk about the machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence. As I said, what is intelligence? Artificial intelligence. So machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence because of artificial intelligence also said we are training the machine in the same thing. We are talking about the machine learning is also training the machines for providing the perceptions, predictions. So that involves the development of self-learning algorithms to gain the knowledge from the data in order to make predictions. The data, whatever the data input we are providing to them, instead of requiring humans to manually drive. And we will also models on the basis of that and gradually improve the performance of whatever the predicting models and data-driven decisions. So if I'll talk about the robot, okay. While if I'll talk about the robot, so robot is what? It is an example of artificial intelligence or machine learning. So artificial intelligence, as we know, it is a branch of computer science dedicated to creating intelligent machines that work, and as we discussed, if whole thing we will artificial intelligence machine learning. Artificial machine learning is a subset of that particular set. Deep learning is also a subset of machine learning. We will discuss about the not deep learning. We will just know about the deep learning also. Under artificial intelligence, a program that can sense, reason, and adapt the things. And under machine learning, what we will do? Algorithms whose performance improve as they are exposed to more over the time. Deep learning is what? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning in which multi-layered neural network learn from the amounts of data. So here what we know, the machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence and deep learning is the subset of machine learning. So deep learning, if we will talk about it, generally we will say DL, machine learning, ML, artificial intelligence. This is a particular kind of machine learning algorithm that is inspired by the functionality of our brain cells called neurons, which led to the concept of ANN, artificial neural network. As you can see on your screen, it is a machine learning algorithm can form a neural network. So it is a concept of deep learning. If I'll talk about the machine learning concept and deep learning concept, we will firstly we talk about the machine learning. We will provide the input. We work on the feature classification, then find out the output. But in deep learning concept, feature extraction and classification, the both function will merge in deep learning. But in machine learning, the both of the functions like feature extraction and classification will work separately. Firstly, we will work on feature extraction. After that, we will work on the classification. As you can see on your screen, the learning process, the word real things we can see the inputs, how we can see the inputs from the database, or we can see the devices, whatever the devices we are using into the as input devices to the what by which we are providing to the machine. And after that, we are working on the pre-processing thing. Pre-processing then mean to say we have to training our data, we are creating the data sets, all the things over there. And after that, you can see the dimensional reduction over there, feature selection or feature projection. Over mean to say what the data you are using, in which format you are using, how you have to use. So over there you have to the feature selection, which projects. After that, it's over there. Application works over there. Then after that, you validate the data. So this is the basic things over there. And the concept talking about the big data analytics also over here, because of what is the big data analytics? AI, ML, and DL. These are the things. All the three concept works on the big data analytics. Because of once if we'll talk about the Venn diagram of AI, ML, DL, and big data analytics. So big data analytics, a graph will also depict inside the deep learning, machine learning, and AI. If we will talk about the use cases of machine learning, AI and machine learning use cases, because of we have to know where the use cases we have of the, as you can take the example of self-driving car. Artificial intelligence can be used to create a fully autonomous cars to travel between destination without a human. It is also a use case of machine learning and AI. Another use case you can take, like Sophia, maybe you can heard about this or not, but many of the people about know Sophia. It is a humanoid robot. Sophia is a social humanoid robot developed by Hong Kong-based company Hanson Robotics. Must be heard about that. Sophia is the first humanoid robot which is being granted a robot from. It is a first robot that's name is Sophia. It is a perfect use case or example of AI. We can see the Snapchat filters we can see on our mobiles over there. In our we are taking the pictures, selfie cameras we are using over there, and we are putting some crowns, flowers, we are putting the specs in our faces. So this particular Snapchat filters is use augmented reality AR concept, the concept of AR, and must for your selfies, for beautiful selfies and for picturization in front of the others. Another we can say everyone knows about the Netflix. The maximum people are using Netflix concept. Netflix, the application that knows what you want. Generally, we search the things, and your on the basis of your interest, the perception, and they are providing the suggestions to you. As recommendation system is owned by machine learning. It is totally based on the machine learning concept, because of machine learning concept is what machine learning concept is providing the predictions on the basis of your past experience. So the Netflix, the recommendation system is powered by machine learning algorithm. So that is what makes their system in good in predicting the mood or the things whatever you are looking mostly in your. So they suggestions to you by the Netflix. Chatbots, everyone knows about the chatbots. We had conversation with the messenger about the product online. Once we are going to shopping online through, or we have to work on the chatbot, so we can write the things and automatically you can find the answers of your queries. So this is also a concept of your use case of AI and ML. You can see the concept of AI in general is like fact checking. generally you can see in journalism so many fake news around the world we can see. So how can we check? We can check through AI, spotting the fake news, reporting articles. So this is basically we can journalism also we can use in healthcare, in tourism, in hiring, HR department, customer service, like happy client service, improvising by speech analytics sentiments. So here we can see the concept of machine learning on the basis of the feedback of the customer. So AI in customer service, the concept of machine learning is more important because of on the basis of feedback of customer, we predict the things and we create the model or select the model, and out on the basis of their choices or we will suggest the things, and we will also build a model to creating the things to the companies so that they can also improve their performance and improve their in the product. So there are so many types of that we can use. The most important thing is which data, how you will in the modification, regression, and types of algorithms. We have to know about the data, which type of data we have to use. Firstly, we have to know about the data, as whenever we are going to teach our students or the persons who are looking aspirants for the computer science department for the programming, so they have to know the data, what is data, what is information, and which type of data type they have to use for their programming purpose. In the same case, we have to know about the data which we will use in the concept of machine learning algorithms. So this is the basic thing. After that, we will go on classification, regression, and other things also over there. So basically, the data classify in two forms in machine learning. Firstly, categorical data, and second one is numerical data. What about the categorical data? Categorical data, variables have values that only we place into categories, such as here. To see if we are talking about the category, we will use the categorical data. If we are talking about the numerical values, variables, values that represents quantities, so we will use the numerical data. It is also we will categorize in two parts numerical data. In one part is discrete and second one is continuous. Discrete is suppose number of children depicts per hour, counted items. And if we will talk about the continuous, so we will talk about the weight, voltage, sales. This is the sensor stream. Once we are using sensors for taking the input, so whatever the data we will input, we will take from the sensors, that will comes under the continuous data, under the numerical data. So this is the basic taxonomy of the data by which we are talking about, like category or numerical. This type of data we will use for the machine learning, implementing or deploying are the concept of machine learning. Now we have to know about the type of machine learnings. So there are three types of machine learning concept. Three types of machine learning concept. Firstly, we will talk about the supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, and reinforcement learning. As we know, the supervised learning is what? Supervised learning, it consider the regression, decision tree, random forest, classification, and unsupervised learning consider the clustering, association analysis, hidden Markov models, and another part is reinforced learning. So firstly, we discuss about the types of machine learning. Supervised learning. Supervised learning, as you can see on your system, that is input, annotations, then models, its grapes or prediction. Mean to say, the supervised learning is totally task-driven learning. It predicts the next value, the next. It predicts on the basis of task, whatever the input we are providing. Suppose you can see here there is input as we are looking the grapes over there. So the generations is grapes. It is past experience, or we can say it is a learning, past learning, and whatever the model we are using. So under we will talk about the supervised learning. Under this type of thing, we are providing on the basis of learning, we are predicting the next value. It means it is a supervised learning. And also, if we will talk about supervised learning, use the classification, regression in supervised learning. Now, if we will talk about the unsupervised learning, regression and classification, we will discuss later on, because of regression and classification is types of regression. So many things are there. We have to discuss about this. So regression we will discuss. And later, because of firstly we have to discuss about the unsupervised, then after that reinforcement learning. Unsupervised learning, if we will talk about the unsupervised learning, here you can see the input over there. There are a number of fruit over there. Apple over there, orange is there, guava is there. So many, and this is looking what it is clustering the thing. What we talk about the clustering or groupism. So unsupervised learning is totally data and identify the clusters. We will data, we will group the data, we will create the cluster under the unsupervised learning. And if talk about reinforcement learning, then reinforcement learning is quite different from the other two types of machine learning, like which we discussed about supervised learning and unsupervised learning. In reinforcement learning, there is no training data. There is no training data. The algorithm works on rewards-based reinforcement learning involves an autonomous agent that observes the environment and selects an action that will lead to help the algorithm improve and long run on its own. If example of the reinforcement learning is what? The game, creating a game. Once we are talking about the creating or developing a game, so reinforcement learning is the best example by which we can create the game. So internal state, learning state, action, environment, and reward. We will talk about the reward. And we discussed also about the supervised learning, like here you can see the supervised learning. You can see the concept of supervised learning. When input variables, suppose X is a variable called features, and output variable, suppose we will say Y is the output variable. Super X is the input variable. As you can see, that is X, suppose, and it saves approximate
of the mapping functions when you have picked the output variable data. This is totally supervised learning. As unsupervised learning, we were talking about the clustering or creating the group of the input on the basis of input data. So unsupervised learning is only when have input data and no corresponding output variables. The goal for unsupervised learning is to model the underlying structure or understand more about the data. I mean to say, as in the starting, unsupervised learning is a data-driven learning and supervised learning is a task-driven learning. So algorithms are left to discover and present the interesting structure in the data. So this is the all about the supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So this is the basic concept of these things. If we will talk about why, because of this FDP totally depend on the basics of machine learning actually. So we have to know why AI and ML are trending now. I mean to say artificial intelligence and machine learning, the concept of machine learning, why it is trending. So it be we will talk about why it is trending. So the 85% of growth from new types of data with machines generated data increasing 15 times, as we can see, or on the basis of past experience. We will talk about in 2012, ERP, CRM system data, digital universe is equal to 20 zettabytes. Mean to say maximum, it's all data all about the world talking about. So documents, emails, unstructured data. In 2012, digital universe is equal to 20 zettabytes, which includes ERP, CRM system data. And the same, if I'll talk about the 2014, so it will increase 31% of enterprises managing more than 1 petabyte. Click streams, social networks. But if we will talk about after 20 years, it will probably, which is machine learning prediction, the concept of AI, it is predicted digital universe will increase by 160 zettabytes, which includes machine generated data, sensor, geolocations, all types of data includes by after 2 can feel or we can use 160 zettabytes. And we are talking about we will talk about the business analytics, business intelligence, all the things. Suppose we have to create a business, we have to talk about health sector, we are talked about in journalism sector, tourism sector. So there is more data. How we calculate the work on the data, more data and the experiences, predefined algorithms, so we can provide the output predictions. Computing power, we are using GPU in place of CPU. Ready algorithms implementations, new technologies, cloud computing, big data, real-time streaming. So these are the things why AI is more trending and ML is more trending. Now we will talk about the steps of machine learning. Or before talking about the 7 steps of machine learning, we will talk about the machine learning life cycle. Machine learning life cycle, the first life is define ML use cases, define specific machine learning use cases for the project. I mean to say, once we are going to develop any project or we are working on any project,
we have to use cases. We have to firstly define the machine learning use cases, as we discussed in this session earlier about the use cases. What is use cases? Like chatbot, robots, all the things are use cases. And important thing is what? Important thing is data.
Hello. Hello, Sharan
exploration.
sir. Your voice is not clear.
Perform regulatory data analysis to understand the data. Yes, sir. Hello. Now am I audible?
Hello. Sir,
Hello. Now
your
am I
voice is
audible?
not. Yeah. Audible, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we were talking about the machine learning life cycle because of before going on 7 steps of machine learning, we were talking about machine learning life cycle. So what is the machine learning life cycle? As software development life cycle, we discussed with the students in software engineering, we have to develop any software or we have to keep talking about that. So as like that, machine learning life cycle also there. Once we are going to develop a project, whatever the project we have to develop. So firstly, we have to define the machine learning use cases. Which type of use cases, like we had discussed, like Sophia, self-driven car, which type of project you are going to develop. So you have to define the use cases. After that, as per your use cases and the project, you have to understand the data. Mean to say, second step is what? Data exploration. Under data exploration, we understand the data and we also data analysis to perform exploratory concept in the data exploration. After that, what we have to do? We have data, we have use cases for the project. Now, what we have to do? We have to identify the algorithm, which type of algorithm we have to implement to perform, to achieve the tasks or the project we had decided earlier. So we have to select algorithm, write machine learning algorithm to perform or to achieve the task which is we had decided. After that, what we have to do? We have to do data pipeline and feature engineering. Mean to say, we had data, but we have to create right feature from raw data from the machine learning task. Mean to say, we have suppose lakhs of data, but we the data is 10,000 data sets are useful for our project. Then what we have to do? We have to do right features from raw data. We have to create data pipelining and feature engineering after the selection of algorithm. Then what we have to do? We have to build machine learning model. Develop the first iteration of the machine learning model. We have to create the machine learning model on the basis of data extraction and the machine learning algorithms, and on the basis of your use cases for which is you had chosen for your development of your project. After that, what you have to do? After building your machine learning model, you have to iterate your machine learning model. Mean to say, refine, because of once you develop machine learning model, then you have to reiterate machine learning model for refining. Mean to say, suppose more than one prediction you are getting from the one model, then you have to refine, you have to iterate your machine learning model. Then what you have to do? Present results. Whatever the results you have, that demonstrate its value to stakeholders. The result, or mean to say, the outcomes, whatever we are receiving from the refined machine learning model, we have to present in front of the stakeholders for which we are doing the project. After that, flow and for deployment, because of suppose the
output or results is not mapped with the stakeholders, then we have to again refine or iterate our model, or also we have to work on the data extraction, feature extraction, along with the selection of the machine learning algorithm. So if it is okay, then we have to go for the plan for deployment. Next, if we will talk about the operationalized model, suppose we are able to deploy our concept, then what we have to do? We have to operational model and we have to monitor the model. So this is the 10 steps of machine learning life cycle by which we can develop the model. Now we will relate our machine learning life cycle with the steps of machine learning. As you can see on your screen, the number one is gathering the data. Gathering the data, we are talking about the data, then preparing the data. But in life cycle, we had discussed before data exploration or data gathering, we have to use the machine learning use case. Mean to say, firstly, you have to identify your project, the project on which you are going to. Then you have to use cases, especially the use cases. After that, the data gathering. But the basic concept generally we use about the gathering the data, preparing the data, then choosing a model, then training the data, after that evaluation, then hypermeter tuning and prediction. So these are the things which we will directly in learning. But once talking about machine learning, it considers the 10 steps, but not generally talk about the 7 steps of machine learning. So use cases, monitoring, data exploration, these are the things we are not including the steps of machine learning project. Now, as discussed, we talk about the regression and classification. We are talking about under the supervised learning. So firstly, about what is regression analysis we have to know. After that, we will talk about the linear regression and the logistic regression. So regression analysis is a form of predictive modeling technique which investigates the relationship between dependent and independent variables. Mean to say, dependent variable is what? Dependent variable is target and independent variable is predictor. So if we will say more about regression analysis, so this technique discussed about regression analysis or machine learning, it is used for prediction, and supervised learning is also a task-driven learning which which predict as output under the supervised learning. It is so dependent variable is target, independent variable is predictor. So relationship between the both variables during the regression analysis. Now, why do we use regression analysis? If we will not do regression analysis, then what will happen? And why we have to do regression analysis? Why it is important? Because of it is time-taking process. Because of if we are talking about the regression, so we have to talk about the regression. Regression analysis estimate the relationship between two or more variables. It's like if we are talking about the analysis part, so it provides the relationship between two or more variables. That's why it is important. There are multiple benefits of using regression analysis we will talk about. It is a significant relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. Significant relationship between dependent and independent variable, and it also consists of equal independent variables on our dependent variables. Suppose we have multiple independent variables and we have one dependent variable, then it provide or it indicate regression analysis indicate the strength of impact. So regression analysis allows us to compare the effects of variable to make predictions. That's why we will say regression analysis is important part. These techniques are mostly driven of three matters. There are like shape line, type of dependent variable. If we will talk about the regression, so there are three sections we will say, or we will say the matrix, the shape of in linear regression in your graph you can see there. So shape of regression line and type of dependent variable. Now we will talk about the linear regression. Linear regression, it is one of the most widely known modeling technique. Why we are talking about the modeling techniques? Linear regression is usually among the first few topics which will people have not used before. But before you start that, let us understand the commonly used regressions. As you can see, the linear modeling approach to find the relationship between one or more dependent or independent variables, predictors, as you know, and dependent variable is the target. So X and Y, you can see the graph. There is a, if we'll talk about the temperatures and the sales. So there are so many dots over there on which temperature, what is the scale over there. So you can draw a regression line to predict the sales. Is it like linear regression? So you can see over there the thing. It is a linear line over there. Now, finding the best fit line. It is very important thing, which is talking about under linear regression, finding the best fit line. Here you can see in the graph, there is points over there in green dotted line over there, and the line is above the green points. So you can see the distance between the data points and the line is maximum. So we can say this is not the best fit line. The best fit line can be found out by minimizing the distance between all the data points and the distance between to the regression line. If it is minimum, then we can say the best fit line. If it is not minimum, then we can say it is not a best fit line. We have to talk about the best fit line, how to obtain. The task can be easily accomplished. Now, this is not the best fit line. The question is that raise around us what now how we will calculate the best fit line. Here you can see best fit line, but how we calculate or obtain the best. It is the most common method used for fitting a regression line. It calculates the best fit line. So there is a formula over there, which is not written by me in this presentation, but R square method over there. By R square method, we can find the best fit line in linear regression. Once we are doing the linear regression, so we have to keep in mind 5 important points. We are talking about the linear regression. So we have to talk about the 5 major important point. That is, first one is there must be between depend. So what is the important point in linear regression? There's a linear line between independent and dependent variable. Second point is what? Multiple regression suffers from autocorrelation heteroscedasticity. If we are talking about multiple regression in linear regression, so we will suffer in during developing a machine learning model over there. Then what we have to do? We will face about the method. Linear regression is very sensitive. How we will say? Because of it to outflush, it can affect the regression line and eventually is focused. This particular line in your graph, you can see over there, it is affected by any independent variable. It will depict in your outcomes, in your result, that is totally maybe what you were expecting, you will not find out the basic. Multiple independent variable, we can go with forward selection, backward elimination, and stepwise approach for selection of most significant independent variable. Suppose we have more than one independent variables, then what we have to do? We can go with forward selection and backward elimination. This concept we have to use for the linear regression. Implementation of linear regression, if anyone is using the concept of Python, we can see use in next sessions. Also, we can see the implementation of our linear regression in through any platform. So if anyone is aware about the Python, so they can easily implement their concept of linear regression in your suppose you are aware about the Google Colab. So just note down on the Google Colab and create a file for regression over there, and you can easily create or implement your regression over there. Now we will have logistic. Logistic regression is a classification algorithm used to predict discrete and categorical values. It is used to find the probability of event success and event failure. As we discussed type of data. So one type of data is what? Categorical data and numerical data. So categorical data, what defined by the categorical data? Yes or no, category of the data, event success or failure, yes or no, 1 or 0, whatever. So it comes under the logistic regression. We should use logistic regression when the dependent variable is binary, into say 0 or 1, true or false, yes or no in nature. Means when we will use the logistic regression when the dependent variable is in the form of these type of binary position. This is called a logistic. So while using the logistic regression, who will default the credit card? This is the concept of credit card users make credit card transactions, plot monthly credit, yes or no, he has paid or not. If not paid, then whatever the condition. So this is the example of logistic regression where we can use on logistic regression this plot Google Colab, or so you can plot this plot. on the basis of data which is available also in the internet, you can use also a proxy data for that plotting this particular data. And also if you have a actual data, then you also plot this regression analysis. And also this is a major part of your research part, where you have to deploy your actual data through logistic regression. And after that, you can predict your outcomes. This particular concept basically used in health sector, journalism. Once we are using this concept in the health sector, definitely if any faculty use this concept in their research paper of AI or machine learning and implement their papers through the any platform you can use, but generally I am using Python on Google Colab. So generally, if you implement this particular concept, logistic regression, in your health sector, in your journalism, wherever you deploy your AI concept, definitely you will find the very good outcomes in maybe in also in the vaccination part, drug discovery, drug design and development. Also, logistic regression is very useful for you. Why logistic? I'm focusing on the logistic regression because of it will be totally depend on the logic. So there is also an important point by which we have to discuss about the logistic regression. That is, logistic regression is widely used for classification problems. Classification problems, as we discussed about the categorical data. If we had classification of problems, mean to say we had classified the problems, then we have to use the logistic regression to avoid overfitting and underfitting. As you can see in the linear regression, there is a concept of best fit line. If you are not using best fit, then you will face the problem. You will not predict the accurate answer over there, accurate prediction over there. So you will face the problem for the underfit or overfit of your regression line in linear regression. But this concept avoid in logistic regression, where we can use, and it also requires a large sample size because maximum likelihood estimate the less powerful in low size. They're able to be correlated with each other. No multi-collinearity in logistic regression. If the values of dependent variable is ordinal, then it is called as ordinal logistic regression. And if dependent variable is multi-class, then it is known as multinomial logistic regression. So these are the basic thing, and there are so many regressions also there, like polynomial regression, stepwise regression, Riz regression, lasso regression, elastic net regression. The important thing is that there are so many regression model over there. How you will select the right regression model? How to select the right regression model? Because of we had discussed so many regression model. If we will talk about choosing or selection of right regression model, then life is usually simple when you know only one or more two techniques. Suppose you know about 2, 3, 4 techniques, but one of the techniques I know of tells there if the outcome is continuous, apply linear regression. If it is binary, use logistic regression. However, the at a disposal to choose the right one. A similar case happens with the regression models and machine learning algorithms. Step what we had written in your screen, you can see over there how to select machine learning algorithms. So the first concept is that how to select a regression model. What do you want to with your data? Right. And additional requirement, accuracy, training time, number of parameters, number of features over there. So important point is that how you choose the machine learning or regression model over there. So linear regression. If you're based on binary or it is binary, then use logistic. However, higher number of options available over there. Within the multiple types of regression model, it is important to choose the best based on the type of independent and dependent which algorithm you have used as a learning life over there. There are 10 steps. You have to use the case over there. It means you have, right, which type of data you are going to use. So within multiple types of, it is important to choose best suited technique based on the type of independent and dependent variable. Dimensionality in the data. So there are some things. Data exploration is a variable part of building predictive model to compare the goodness, cross validation, and if your data set is multiple confounding variables, then you should not choose auto method. You have to choose manual method, manual algorithm. इसको बंद कर दो. There are challenges also, challenges and limitations of our machine learning are there. So as we discussed about how to choose machine learning algorithm, firstly you have to discuss about data, which data you are going to use, which regression model you have to use. Regression model selection depend on the outcomes, which type of outcomes in your project will be there. Then on the basis of that, you have to choose the regression model. And on that basis, the important thing is that choosing machine learning algorithm, firstly choose, you have to your objective, which type of objective you are going to choose in your project, and the outcomes you are expecting in your project, which in which category your outcome will come out from your project. The data, mean to say input, in which format you are taking the input data for your project. After that, you can build the machine learning model. After that, iterate your machine learning model, or we can say refine your model. Then if any additional requirement over there, then you can provide the things, accuracy over there, training time. So these are the things over there where you have to use. Next, if we will talk about the challenge and limitations of machine learning. So there are so many challenges over there in machine learning. As if we will compare artificial intelligence and machine learning,
So here you can see the chart of advantages and disadvantages of machine learning over here. So firstly, we compare this particular concept of machine learning with artificial intelligence. As artificial intelligence, where intelligence is defined, acquisition of knowledge, intelligence is defined as the ability to acquire and apply knowledge. And in machine learning concept, it is defined as the acquisition of knowledge and skill. The aim of artificial intelligence is to increase the chance of success and not accuracy. As I said earlier, artificial intelligence is not talking about the accuracy. It is talking about the success of your chance, whatever the task or assignment you had taken for that. So it is, its purpose is success, to increase the accuracy. So the machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. We can easily understand artificial intelligence is talking about the success of your project or assignment or your task, but not accuracy. I'm not saying that according as per the artificial intelligence, we will not get the output in an accurate manner. We will get, but it is not defined. It will be accurate. It must not be accurate. It may be inaccurate, but task must be complete in artificial intelligence. But in machine learning concept, we will talk about the success as well as increase the accuracy. If I'll talk about the artificial intelligence works as a computer program that does smart work. And if I talk about the machine learning, the simple concept, machine takes data and learn from data. The goal of artificial intelligence is to simulate natural intelligence to solve complex problems. Like human brain, we see the problems, we provide the solutions as per on the basis of trained brain. By the use of past experience, learning the same pattern, it works as smart work. If artificial intelligence goal is to simulate to solve complex problems, and machine learning, the goal of must learn from the on certain tasks to maximize the performance of machine on the task. Artificial intelligence is decision-making concept, and machine learning allows system to learn new things from the data. Whatever the data we are using, it learn from new things and data. But AI is decision-making concept. Artificial intelligence leads to develop a system to mimic human to respond, behave in a circumstances, like whatever the circumstance. But machine learning involves in creating self-learning environment, while go for finding the optimal solution for that, whether it's optimal, it will provide the solution mapped with the actual or not. It is not responsible for that. Machine learning is not responsible for that.
Artificial intelligence lead to intelligence when machine learning leads to knowledge or meta-knowledge. What we are talking about. Through the machine learning, if we will talk about the machine learning, the advantages of machine learning easily identify trends and patterns. Whatever the pattern we are going to use, we are identify easily use through machine learning. Under the concept of machine learning, there is no intervention of human. There is no need. The concept of machine learning, continuous improvement of in your challenges in your environment. While handling the machine learning concept, it use multi-variety. There's wide applications over there we can use over their machine learning.
Manish, voice is not audible. Voice is not coming. And voice is also cracking earlier.
Hariom sir, Professor Sharan sir, is there any problem? Dear participants, if you want to ask any question, then you can write on the chat box.
No audio. मनीष जी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Checking, sir. Hello. Sir. Sir, unmute yourself, sir. सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है तो
Now it's okay.
हेलो.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I think that was muted. That's why I was not able to. So I was talking about the application of machine learning. That was the topic which we have to discuss with you. That as we were talking about our project on machine learning, which we are working on in under the category of medical diagnosis. That is early breast cancer detection, which is joint project of oncologist and the technocrats. So we are working on that medical diagnosis, early breast detection using machine learning algorithms. So right now we are gathering data from the hospital and also from the hospitals and had developed applications by which we are collecting the data because of so many people are now over there. So under machine learning concept, we are also developing on that particular project. Stock, as so many companies, finance companies, they are investing through their customer in stock market, and also we can pursue the online fraud detection through machine learning concept, even virtual person, even malware, self-driving car. As starting, I said about because of it is a use case of artificial self-driving, and also these are the application talking about. Mean to say use cases of that. When as per our discussion, the use case finalizes selection of use cases, while the selection of machine learning and the regression analysis is most important part, and product recommendations over there, traffic predictions, speech recognition, image recognition. So where we can implement the concept of machine learning. So this is all about the basics of machine learning. What is machine learning? Application of machine learning, steps of machine learning, the life cycle of machine learning, types of machine learning we had discussed, and even how we use the regression analysis, because so many types of regression analysis are there.
more important part of the regression analysis is the linear regression and logistic regression. But while we using the linear regression, we have to keep in the mind, we have to linear line or regression line must be best, but not overfit or not underfit, because of the data points, what the data points we are very that regression line with as unsupervised learning, that is totally depend on the data driven and clustering concept. And reinforcement learning, as we are talking about that learn from the mistakes, whatever, and create the environment. Mostly we use in the reinforcement learning and development of the games over there. And as we discussed about the like all types of learning, regression, choosing of the machine learning algorithm, choosing of the regression model. So these are the basic concept of the machine learning. Once we are going to implement the concept of machine learning, we have to, generally we are using the Python over there, and you can use the through Google Colab over there, the concept of machine learning. So you can easily implement your concept in machine learning, artificial neural network over there, KNN over there, decision tree concept over there. So these are the basic things of the machine learning. And in the next phase, as I can see, I had seen the flow chart of here, this particular 5-day FDP over there. So this is the basic concept of the machine learning, which we have to deploy to another experts, and so many things are there. So just create your mind what is machine learning, where you have to deploy, choose the use cases, choose the algorithm, choose the project, choose the model, and implement in your research area. Find out your area and implement your algorithms. So these all things all about from my side. And thank you very much for listening our patience to me on the concept of basics of machine learning. Thank you very much for the organizers and participants who had given the time to listen me, and maybe hopefully this particular concept basics of machine learning will support to you and will help to you to implementing your concept in your research area where you want to deploy your concepts. So once again, thank you very much for the organizers and are the HOD of Department of IT, Information Technology of ABS, Professor Amit Sinha sir, and co-convener Professor Dr. Anis Gupta sir, and entire organizing team for giving me this opportunity to deliver the and sharing my views in front of with all the participants who are virtually connected with this faculty development program. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you from my side. Manish ji, you can take over the charge. Is over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Your session is very important for us, and I think participants have hello.
Hello. Yes, sir.
देख रहा हूँ सर ये रिटर्न में 10 लोग आ गए।
Hello, thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Your session was very important for us.
Thank
sir.
you very
And
much, sir,
Kanpur
for
ma'am-
your
Kanpur ma'am-
knowledgeable session.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
नमस्कार सर एक तो मैं कर रहा था जो ऐसे
There is a announcement.
All the participants are requested to join the session after lunch.
स्क्रीन बना लेते हैं अपना, बना ही
There is a feedback. There is a feedback
ट्रांसफर भी हुआ है,
in chat box.
मैं सिर्फ बैठ के बना रहा हूँ, ठीक है। अच्छा
Dear
मेरी
participant,
you
there
all.
is a feedback
एक
in chat box. Please fill it. Okay, thank you.